Hi, thank you for clicking on the video. As you can see, we'll be discussing This Christmas today. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notifications button so you know exactly when new videos are up and ready for viewing. As per usual, if you don't like spoilers and you've never seen This Christmas before, you should jump off here, go watch This Christmas, and then come back. If you don't care, we move on. Now, I love This Christmas. It's one of my favorite movies. Every time I come across it, I'ma watch it. I don't care if it's not the Christmas season. And I came across it last night and I watched it. And I decided I'm gonna make a video about all of my thoughts on the movie. Now, I want to do this a little bit different today. I want to try to, have it go in a more categorized way. So we're gonna start with someone I have the least amount to say about, which is Melanie and Devin. Now, the only thing I really want to say about Melanie is she's so wrong. For first and foremost, why are you bringing all of these different guys to your house to meet your family? Like, if you're not like serious about the, and don't get me wrong, she probably think that she's serious in the moment, but after like the second or third time of you seeing that you ain't having these long lasting relationships, you should not be bringing all of these men around your family if you don't know for a fact that this is the one, because that just make you look trampy, if I'm being completely honest. And so she brings Devin to Christmas this year with her family, and they just spill all the tea on her, which is she transfers to the same major as whoever she's dating at the time. And I think he was in pre-law, so she was in pre-law. Mind you, she's way older than this boy as well, because she's been in college for 7 years. Like Calvin Payne much? And that is also spilled at the dinner table, because she keeps changing her major to follow up after a guy. You're not serious about this, and honestly, at this particular point, you're wasting your parents' money. Your mom's money, really, because we'll get to the dad, but you're wasting your mom's money because you're not taking it serious. If you were, you would have graduated already, or you would stick to a freaking major and keep it to fucking pushing. But instead, you following up behind all of these guys that clearly these relationships aren't working out. I actually liked her and Devin together. They were cute, he seemed like he could bring her to focus possibly, but this girl she seemed like a wild child, so I don't really think it would probably go that far either with him. But he had potential to be the one for her, I definitely feel like. Speaking of wild childs and messing around with a bunch of people, Chris Brown was in this movie and he played Baby, aka Michael Whitfield. Technically, I should have flipped that around. He played Michael Whitfield, aka Baby. But everybody was calling him Baby so much that, it seemed like his first name, to be honest. They barely called him by his name. So, this is my thing about his character. I will admit, like, when I was younger, I loved Chris Brown. Like, really loved Chris Brown. So, one of the reasons why I would rewatch this movie all the time was to see him. But I'm gonna be completely honest, watching with adult eyes, I don't like how sexualized they made him, right? Like, they did him in this movie, technically. Okay, just bear with me. So, he's supposed to be playing like a 17-year-old. And okay, 17-year-old boy, hormonal, wanting to be with girls. Okay, that's cool, that's fine. But why did that have to be the circumstance? Like, that was his personality for the first half of the movie, is, he just has a bunch of girls just chasing after him. He's gonna want to leave the nest, and because he has all of these girls all after him. Okay. Now, I love when they pivoted and was like, oh, music is his life. Like, because I don't like the fact, mind you, I'm pretty, like, obviously, yes, for sure, he was grown when he actually played this role, but he's playing a kid, and I don't care that he's almost an adult, technically, you're still sexualizing a kid, basically, is how my mind perceives it. And they do that often in movies and TV shows. They get someone who's like popping and then be like, oh, but what we're gonna do is have you play this teenage character and just make you just the sex symbol, which makes no sense to me. Like, there's grown-ass adults that's also in the film that it would be appropriate to make the sex symbol, whatever, but I digress. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't ultimately matter, kind of. I just wish that they hadn't made that such a big thing, like, because ultimately what it turned out to be is that he just wants to sing. He's very creative, and all of these, I have a theory, right? So in the movie, that was his first time singing on stage in front of people. And he kept saying he got all of these dates. Now, he probably did have some dates, and he did have all of these girls blowing up his phone. But I think there was more times of him saying, oh, I have a date, and going off and practicing singing and practicing his performance to be able to go up on stage. And they just believed him because he did have so many girls calling for him and wanting his attention. But most of those times he was probably going off to just practice, because he couldn't practice in the house because his mama would hear him and be like, you gonna stop this nonsense right now. So, I think he was using the date excuse for way longer than just that night for him to go up on stage. He did an amazing job. Obviously, it's Chris Brown, obviously. But with that being said, while we are talking about his performance, he performed in a nightclub. Why they let a 17-year-old in a nightclub? I don't care that it's to sing. He shouldn't have been allowed up in there, but whatever. I digress. It's a movie. It doesn't matter. He was not the only Whitfield in that club that night. In fact, most of his siblings was in that club that night. I loved when he saw Quintin, how confident he got. And I saw this video, and they was like showing up Madears, and it was like a little kid, and they saw their parents and like lit up, like they looked so sad at first. That's how it was with baby on that stage. Okay, he was like so nervous, damn near trembling, and then when he saw Quintin, he was like, oh, I'm good. And then, had the confidence to really like show out in the performance, and I loved that. And also, who was in the club was Kelli, Melanie, and Claude. They all went together. Also, Devin was there, obviously, but they all went to the club together, and Kelli ended up linking up with Gerald. Okay, so this is my issue with this whole scenario. So they're sitting there. As soon as they get the table, dude got his eyes on Kelli. Quintin look over and he said, oh yeah, I went to school with him. And then proceeds to go over there and bring this man, the stranger, over to his sister, because you went to high school with him. You in your 30s, probably close to your motherfucking 40s. You don't know that man? Why would you bring him over to your sister? Like, y'all just like cool, like y'all still keep in touch. Then when everything happens with Claude, you proceed to say, like, you ask, where is Kelli? And Melanie says, oh, she's with Gerald. And you say, oh, she good then. How the hell you know that she good? Because you don't know him. Like, what if he turned out to be crazy? What if he turned out to be a psychopath? You thinking your sister is good with this man that you knew years ago? Like, people change, and sometimes it's not always for the better. Like, now obviously she was fine, like, but I'm just saying that whole scenario was hella fucking dangerous, especially for you to be not just her older brother, but to be the oldest in general in this freaking family, for you to allow yourself to be like, oh no, it's a guy that I knew in high school damn near 20 years ago. She'll be fine. You insane. You got me messed up. I'm not about to let my sister just go off. I don't care how grown we is. Like, it's dangerous. You need to get his number, get to know him. I don't care. But this is during the time where they really normalized one night stands and stuff like that. Like, I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why it's so normalized today. I think it's less one night stands that take place in today's time than back then, because they was putting it in like everything in TV shows and movies. They was putting that stuff out there and really convincing people that one night stands is the thing, which I'm gonna be completely honest, and this is completely off topic. I don't understand how anybody can be comfortable with a one night stand, like wanting random strangers to see your body. Like, and let's not act like we all don't have like these insecurities that we notice about ourselves. Even if somebody else don't notice, we notice. So you just okay with a bunch of random people, having access to you? That it's a no for me, dog. So yeah, I don't like that it was so normalized. They put it in everything. But yeah, I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. And, he sat up here and went off and just left her. Technically, she left them first. I think she ran off with them while the shooting was going on or whatever. But you get my point, right? Then, Kelli the next day gets into it with Lisa because she's like, you deserve better. You sitting up here blaming me for going off to college and, caring about myself, which, she called herself selfish, right? Lisa was going in on her, talking about, oh, well, you only care about yourself. You went off to college and I had to deal with everything by myself. You could have gone off to college too. Like, your mama would have still been dealing with the laundromat. You could have gone off to college. You chose not to. And she kind of explains why she didn't, because she was messing with Malcolm and, ends up getting knocked up. And the story unfolds there, right? But I'm trying to understand why Kelli had so much hostility from Malcolm to begin with. Okay, from the very moment she showed up, her and Malcolm have there is so much tension between them. I have a couple of theories. Okay, one reason that I've noticed throughout time that two people are that upset with each other is they was messing around and then stopped messing around and then just start hating each other. Or this is another theory. I don't really think Kelli would do that to Lisa. It's possible that Malcolm tried to come on to Kelli and she knew he was a piece of shit and just didn't like him from there. And it's also like, we don't have much backstory. We just get in what's going on this particular time in their life, right? So it's possible that one of the reasons why there's animosity between Lisa and Kelli is she probably went to Lisa and was like, hey, he was acting weird, and she believed Malcolm over her, and it created a strained dynamic. Possible. There's a couple, like I said, there's a few things that could have happened, or she could have just noticed that he was a piece of shit from the start. Like, he treats her sister terribly, and so she just automatically was like, no, I don't like you. I don't like this. I don't like that she allows you to act like this, Even in that kitchen scene, like, her words get flipped around at first. Like, she says she's weak-willed and easily influenced. And she is. Like, you're allowing your husband to tell your siblings to sell y'all family business because he wants the money. He wants the money. And then he proceeds to try to twist Kelli's words, which leads Lisa into twisting Kelli's words. And and you know they was twisting her words because even Melanie spoke up and was like, no, I think she said Whitfield. Like, don't try and jump on her right now, okay? You know, and I think that Kelli handled herself pretty well in that situation and just left it at, well, y'all want to have a family meeting and we can't have a family meeting because Quintin ain't here. Bye-bye. And left it at that. But, you know, Lisa literally lets Malcolm dictate her. And I'm going to be completely honest. So, I'm jumping a little ahead because this is one of my favorite scenes. I think this is one of everybody who liked this movie's favorite scene when she beat the fuck out of him with that baby oil on the floor with that belt. Okay. The way she runs off when she get done, she was terrified. She was scared of him, of like the possibility of him getting up and reaching her. I'm pretty sure at some point he's definitely put his hands on her. You know, it probably was very spaced apart and just probably a few times, but it's never okay because not only was he mentally abusive towards her and also a cheating ass nigga, he definitely physically has abused her before. You can tell, like, she seemed scared of him at certain points, and the way that she looked and the way that she ran off, it seemed like, oh, I know, like, it's not just about me doing this to him in this moment. I know for a fact that this man will beat my ass. You know what I mean? Like, it felt like that type of energy to me. I felt that way for a while now. But yeah, I like the scene because she told him a new one, but it definitely felt like there was more scaredness towards the end there than, oh, I just fucked up in this moment by beating him by putting this baby oil on the floor, you know. Speaking of him cheating, like, he's cheating with this woman who is convincing him to convince his wife to sell the family dry cleaning because she's gonna be gaining money as well. She's gonna gain a lot from these sales because not only did he convince Lisa that it would be good to sell the laundromat, he also convinced her that it would be good for Madear to also sell her house, the house they grew up in, the house she worked hard to keep, to have. You know, he convinced her that this is the best thing for everybody, which I don't understand how Lisa believed that shit because literally no one was gaining but him. She wasn't gonna gain nothing because he don't give her shit, you know. And he was so just, I hate it. Like, you cheating on her. Don't get me wrong, the woman he was cheating on her with was a beautiful woman, but his wife was beautiful. And this man, he literally, like, there was a moment where he was feeling a little frisky, right? And he calls for her. She's still brushing her teeth. She's still getting ready for bed. He sees that and immediately is just like, see, this is why I'm cheating on you, and turns over. And she comes out. She looks beautiful. Her body is tea. Okay? Like, she looks great. And she's trying to get his attention, and he pretends to be asleep. Now, if your ass had turned around, I'm pretty sure you would still be feeling fucking frisky, and you would be like, damn, why am I cheating on this girl? Like, because she looked beautiful. There was nothing wrong with her. Like, so I don't understand what the hell be wrong with these men. Like, y'all are married, so obviously you're going to see her in the moments where she's just being comfortable being with her husband because, yeah, I mean, it's everyday shit. What, you don't want her brushing her teeth? You don't want her keeping up her hygiene? Like, that shit makes no sense to me. That is what the issue was for you. I'm sure when you brush your motherfucking teeth, it looked just as fucking messy, you know. So I don't understand what the hell he was doing. It was just so, it was stupid. And like, this is a quick little mention because them kids of theirs, they had like 2 lines in the whole movie. They really was just technically background characters for the plot, basically. But like, the way that he neglected just the entire family. Like, he didn't seem close to his kids either, to be honest. It seemed like he, was just like really about business, but his business was in between the legs of another woman. Again, I digress, but them kids, I feel so bad. I mean, hey, they still got paid, I'm sure, but they didn't have much like to say. Like, when they were on screen, they was just quiet. Like, honestly, some of the best kids, because I don't know no kids that's gonna be that motherfucking quiet, okay? they was just like there. And then, like, the parents is just doing what the parents is doing. Like, Malcolm's off, and Lisa's like, well, I'm the best one here because I stayed here and learned how to cook. I love how nobody wanted Kelli to cook. They was dogging her. I need to just mention this real quick. I don't know what the hell Kelli and Melanie thought they was doing. Nothing. Like, I'm pretty sure the book they was getting the recipe from had a picture of what it's supposed to look like. So the fact that you see that it don't look the same, start over. Don't just keep going. Don't put the meat into that nasty ass shit. Don't put the vegetables into that nasty ass shit. Start over with the gravy until you see that it's right. Ugh. Nobody, and Devin didn't know what he was doing either, and so he don't know to tell them to start over. And where the fuck was Rosie in that moment? That was like a little random thing I had to say, Speaking of marriages and, the dynamics of marriages, let's talk about Claud and Sandi. This boy married a white woman. Okay. Okay. But I don't think he was embarrassed of her. I think he was worried about what his family would say. Okay, because this is a very pro-black family. Okay, everybody in this family, whether you're light-skinned or not, you're going to be black. Okay, so I think he was just concerned that they wouldn't be so accepting. And then they also would have so many questions because they got married so sporadically. And she felt like he was ashamed of her, and she should have felt that way, because why is you not telling your people about me? Like, we're married, I want to meet my family, and that's fair. It's fair enough that you want to meet who you are in-laws with. And I think she really was hoping, because she knows that he comes from a big family, and she knows that they are loving and caring because Claude has told her this. Her parents are racist, and they disowned her the moment that she told them about Claude. So, and I think that was before they were even married. And so I think she was really hoping to be able to be engulfed in that family dynamic and, be like, okay, yes, my parents, are weird and don't care, and that's fine because I still have family. They're not just leaving me in the dust, like Claude loves me and that's all that matters, and his family loves me and that's all that matters. I think that's what she was, hoping for and looking for in that moment. And it is a shame that Claude made her feel like she was something to be embarrassed of. She was a very pretty woman, but he definitely should have told them. Like, he should have told them the moment you engaged, you asked this woman to marry you. Like, that's the moment to be like, hey, family, so I know y'all probably gonna judge me, but, and introduce them. Like, it's just, it was wrong how that whole situation came to be. And then you go AWOL for this woman, and see, this is the thing, because you wouldn't have had to do all of that if you had told your family that you had married her, if you had told your family about her to begin with, because you could have called and been like, hey, I'm not granted leave, but my wife is gonna be there. Simple as that. She would have still been able to be around them and still had a good Christmas, even though you weren't able to show the fuck up. You created a whole issue by going AWOL. Now, let's talk about them two dudes that was talking to, because y'all got some freaking nerd to judge Claude. They was judging him. Like, when he popped up and Sandi was like, oh no, we together. And they was like, they gonna say, stay black. Boy, I know you ain't talking. You two motherfuckers was over here hoping y'all was gonna get a train. Stop lying. Don't fucking act like y'all wasn't over here trying to holler at this white girl. So don't try and judge him because he's actually with her. You problematic too. Y'all was hoping for some freaky ass shit that night. Don't play. And so I don't blame Claude for crashing out. Should he have pulled a gun out? No, nigga, punch him up. Like, what is you doing? Because ultimately, you pulling that gun out is what led to you being discovered as fucking AWOL. And I think he was just gonna deal with the consequences after he got back to base in general, and probably then told the family, like, yeah, so I got a bit of issue, you know. But ultimately, you wouldn't have gotten even caught up if you had just handled that situation differently. And then this is the thing. It was honorable that you stood up for your wife, because they said some, you know, rude ass shit. But there's a way to handle a situation, and pulling out a gun in that moment was not the right thing to do. The fact that you want to yell and fuss and cuss with Quintin in the car, Quintin will have every right to be that upset with you, because you are there with not just, you know, a bunch of freaking people, but your siblings. All, like, most of your siblings. The only one that wasn't there was Elisa. And even mind y'all, Lisa was so mad that they went out without her. She like, oh, so y'all just gonna leave me at the house? Fuck y'all. like, girl, you weren't gonna go anyways if you knew. But, like, all of your siblings but one is there. Now, what if you had shot that gun off and it hit one of your siblings? Quintin had every right to be upset. You know, speaking of Quintin was a complete and total mess. Okay, like, these motherfuckers, bro, men have just something inside of them that always feels the need to, like, act so young minded. Okay, because you almost 40, I'm sure of it. I am sure that you are up there. You mid to late 30s, I'm sure of it. Why the hell are you hoping that your father will come back and get back with your mama? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Grow the fuck up, boy. Like, what are you talking about? And you don't even be here. Why are you having hope for that? And this is the thing, because the way your daddy left, you shouldn't want your mama to even want to take him back. You should want your mama to be happy. I'm glad that he came around towards the end, but it's the fact that Joe had been there for so long. Like, he popped up when Quintin was still a kid. Like, baby had, like, senior left, like, when baby had, like, just been born, probably just before baby was born or something like that. He left. He probably don't even know about baby. Who knows? Like, but you sat up here. You've known that your mama and this man has been a thing since you was a child, and you still acting this fucking childish with him. Like, you being this rude to him. To be fair, one of my favorite lines is, "You do that, Joe." I say that all the time just because, you know, I don't know. It's one of them vocal stems, basically, you know. But yeah, like, you so hostile with him because he love your mama. Okay, so the only reason Quintin came back is because he was in debt to some loan sharks, and Mo and Dude, the worst freaking henchmen ever, bro. Like they kind of was gonna get the job done, but why is y'all so distracted? Like, they come through distracted as hell, and just like they don't know what they doing. This man escaped them multiple times because they don't know what the heck they're doing. Like, this is the thing, because when they sat down next to him in the bar at the beginning, he hit them with the bottle, and this dude said, "I knew it." Like, if you knew he was gonna do something like that, why would you not be more prepared for something like that? Worst henchman ever. Then y'all come up in this man's house, this man's family's house, talking about some, oh yeah, hook me up with your sister. He like she married. He said, I don't care. She want it, she can get it. And he got in his face. Yeah. I'm gonna get up in your face. I don't care that I owe you money. I don't care if I owe your boss money. I'm gonna get up in your face. I don't care if you came here to actually fucking kill me right now. If you got the gun in my head, you ain't finna talk about my sister like that. I'm gonna get up in your face. Like disrespectful. Then you dumbasses, y'all got his train ticket. This man said, y'all can spend the night. Go ahead, eat, get comfy. These niggas is in the bed, just sleeping comfortable as hell. It took, who is it, dude, being like, man, this was nice of him. I can't believe he let us get all comfortable in his family house. It was like, oh shit. He get up, check, and the ticket gone. Obviously, worst henchins ever. Worst freaking henchins ever, okay? Quintin was getting down on him. How they caught up to him is beyond me. But I also love the fact that he come in after he missed church. Okay. He said, I don't do church. Okay, I don't believe what y'all believe. I believe my own stuff. He still made sure he missed church even when he came back. They went to church for Christmas, celebration or whatever. Because mind y'all, this whole day with the going to the club, all of that, and Quintin showing up, this was a Sunday. Okay. This was a Sunday. He made sure he missed church. And then the next day was the Christmas celebration. Or the day after the next day was the Christmas celebrations. Okay. So like Tuesday was the Christmas celebration. He made sure he didn't show back up until church was done. And then he popped up in there and was like, all right, fix me a plate. I'm gonna stay for this Christmas. You know, we good. We good. Like, you not good. You're an asshole. You could have showed up at the church. You know damn well you was still in town. He was like, I'm gonna just wait until they back home. Like, fucking so messed up. With that being said, I'm going to talk about the last 3 individuals that needs to be talked about, which is Madear, Joe, and Senior. Now, I saw a video and somebody was like, Madear created the whole situation that was going on. She did. She was a whole no, it was what's his name? I can't remember what his name is, but he makes videos and he's like the real villain of the movie versus the actual villain or whatever. And he was like, Madear was the villain because she was, holding out, making the kids think that there was hope for their father to come back, making Joe, just, why are you making him leave each year? The fact that Melanie didn't even know that he was staying there, ridiculous, right? Nobody cared, by the way. Like, she was like, well, why you think that why would you think that mama would want to live with Joe? And, Lisa's like, bro, he been living here since you left for college. The fact that everybody knew but her and Quintin, like, that's kind of sad. Baby didn't care because, Joe was that father figure for him. As far as he knew, Joe was his dad. Pretty much. As simple as that. And so, like, the fact that you sat up here and made this man pack his shit each year and put it in the garage and made him go to a hotel each year. Girl, you a piece of shit for that. Like, marry him already. Like, you're divorced from your husband, your ex-husband. He ain't coming back. You shouldn't even allow your kids to think that there is ever a possibility for that man to come back, because he did you bold. You know damn well you don't want that man back. I'm not about to keep hope alive. I'm not about to keep smiling when you send your postcards from where you at. No, I'm not. Because you left bold as hell talking about something, I need to follow my heart. Nigga, you should have followed your heart before you had a bunch of kids with me. No, you're not about to leave me here with, what is it, like 5 kids? No, you're not. You should have followed your heart before you said you love me, nigga. Like, no. You should have followed your heart before you put a ring on my finger. No. And the fact that he was like, I'm out, fuck this, fuck these kids, fuck you, I'm enjoy myself. There was no hope. There was never no hope. And I would not have given my kids hope. I would have been like, hey, the truth is, your daddy lived and I'm in love with this man right here because he's been here for me. He's been here for y'all, you know, and that's what it is. I'm not about to play these games. And then the way that she was so hostile about music, what you are creating even more scenarios where people are feeling like they have to leave your ass. It's exactly like baby said, you know, he didn't want to end up resenting her the way that Senior and Quintin resented her because she didn't like music or whatever. She didn't want them to pursue it. So she ends up having a hate for it because she doesn't want them to leave her. And fair enough on the Senior part because he had no right doing that shit. This nigga already had like 4 kids before and one in the oven when he dipped off. Like, you don't do no shit like that. Your dreams are your family now. That's your dreams. You can't just sit up here and create a big ass family and then be like, well, this is not what I want. You just can't. Quintin, on the other hand, that was not the scenario for him. He wanted to pursue music, and he didn't create a big ass family. You know, he came from a big ass family, but there was no reason why Madear should have not supported him, because Quintin would have came around a lot more if you had supported him from the beginning and been like, okay, you know, your father a piece of shit, but I should not be putting that on you because your father did some bold ass shit to us. You know, do what makes you happy. Just don't do what your dad did. If you find a woman that you love and you create a family with her, you stay there and fuck your dreams because your dreams is that family now. Like, that's the conversation that should have been had. I'm glad that she allowed herself to come around, you know, with at the very end when she heard baby sing, she's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can't hold this boy back. He got that shit, right? I also love that after he had the conversation with his mama, he just started singing around the house. Like, there was no reason for him to harmonize talking about Claude's wife to Malcolm. That was just him showing off at that point. He like, hey, mama, no, I'm gonna sing around this bitch. I don't care. I don't gotta lie to go off. I'm gonna practice in this house. She gonna know that I'm singing because I already talked to her about it, you know. And I think it was definitely a necessary conversation for her to have because, mind y'all, his name is Baby in the show. They only been calling him Baby. The only time we hear him get called Michael Whitfield is when he go up on that stage, I'm pretty sure. You know, so, you know, they see him as this baby, basically. And, you know, her having that conversation with him and him showing her, hey, I'm about to be 18. I'm about to be grown as hell. I have dreams. I have goals. I have wants. And it wasn't just about music for him because he actually loved that camera that he got at the beginning. So I think he just was very creative in general. And music was also just a creative outlet for him. And her being able to see him handle himself in a conversation with her about what he wants, you know, allows her to be able to stop seeing him so young-minded. Right? Like, when she looks at him, she's like, that's just my baby. But he's not a baby anymore. And so she needed to have that conversation with him and see that, okay, this is a young man now. Like, I hope they change his nickname. And you can keep his nickname Baby, I guess, but just don't be treating him like such because he's not. And so I think that it was very helpful for her to be able to get to terms of accepting. And, you know, again, we didn't get a prequel, we don't get a sequel, so we don't really know what happens to the family after these events. I would love a sequel. And I would love to see like where everything developed, how everything went for the family, see how far Madear came along to being accepting, like how frequently Quintin comes around now with her being more open-minded about the music stuff in general, you know. But I doubt we'll ever get one of those, unfortunately. You know, I like to hope that with her becoming more open-minded, that Quintin did start coming around more, and it allowed her to get closer with, you know, not just Quintin and Baby, but also with her other children, you know, being able to feel more open to expressing themselves. Mind y'all, every one of them was scared to talk to her about something, right? Like, Baby didn't want to tell her about the music. Claude didn't want to tell her about his wife because he knew she would trip. You know, Lisa didn't want to talk to her about wanting to sell the dry cleaning. Like, that's her business, by the way. Still disagree with that. So, you know, I think that it probably led to more open discussions, which I hope it did. With that being said, that's all I got to say. Thank you for watching. If you made it this far into the video, why don't you tell me if you did enjoy this Christmas, what was your favorite part in that movie, right? Until next time, bye.